Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. It feels like morning until the sugar kicks in and the caffeine kicks in. So, congratulations to all the winners last night. Congratulations to all the filmmakers who have a film here at the Macabre Faire Film Festival, because that's an achievement in and of itself and worthy of congratulations. Any winners in the room this morning?
Everybody raised their hand.
You're all winners. If you'd like to come up and join me at the panel so we can do a little wrap up of the festival and talk about filmmaking experience and so introduce themselves, the film, what they did with the project, and what awards you guys might have won last night. So we'll start here.
Hi, I'm Drew Maniscalco for the film Photokill, and I won last night, thank God. I won Best Supporting Actor.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Alison Hall. Hi, I'm Alison Hall. I'm the writer-director of Walk with the Devil. Last night, our actress won us Best Supporting, Best Main Character auditions.
Tony DeBenedetto, I am the executive producer for Hell of a Night. Last night won Best Editing for a Feature.
Hi, my name is Andrew Merto. I won Honorable Mention for Best Dark Drama, Red Sweat.
Hi, I'm Jim Thalman. I'm part of 60 Minutes, and I was lucky enough to win Best Actor in a Short last night.
Shiva Rodriguez, director, co-writer of Coming Home. We won Best Short Screenplay last night.
Ducky Rodriguez, I'm with her.
And he gets the friggin' applause.
Everybody.
So I wanted to begin by asking you, at this particular moment in time, we've got such a wealth of technology in the filmmaking business that's available to all of us. The price points are coming down. And I think the only thing that really separates the filmmakers at this point is their ability to tell a story. And I really wanted to know, from your point of views, what is your take on storytelling, and what qualities in the narrative have to be there for you to get up in the morning and decide that you're going to spend the next 6 months making a film? So,
Well, obviously the story has to really grab you, and I like twist endings, and I like a change of character. I normally play a killer, but I do. But like this one that I did, it had like a twist to it. In the beginning he was just like a softy guy, and it was like a transition. And I like this as a transition. For as an actor, it's like a challenge to go from this to and it was the first time I was ever in sort of like a dark comedy. So that's what sold me on it, And he sent it to me. He was like, "What do you think it is? Do you want to do this?" And I'm in.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'm also a script consultant. I read for Whistle Film Festival. So my approach is that first the story has to be really strong, and it has to be really well structured, because you do not want to bore the audience. You want the story to really, just keep going, because we're in entertainment business. You have to, it's just, you can't have just two people in a room just talking about the weather. This is what I'm saying. So the story is definitely king. Then as a director-producer, of course we have all this technology available to us, but sometimes the smaller camera is actually the better, because you can actually put it whatever you want. It needs very little support, and the quality nowadays is amazing. It's not like the handy cams from 15 years ago. The quality is just amazing. Already we have 4K, just in the GH5 Panasonic, it's just $2,000 you have already for a camera, single for a camera. And then also art direction. You really want to know where the camera is going to be pointing at, and have colors in it, because post-production will not invent the colors. You already have to have a nice scene to point the camera at.
Well, you know, for me, it's one of those scenarios like everybody else has said. A solid script is extremely important because really without the script, you know, you really don't have anything. And especially in the horror genre, the other thing for me is the sound. You know, the sound can either kill or make it the best film you've ever seen. And so I think a lot of filmmakers in the independent world, you know, usually sound's one of the last things you do. By that time, you probably run out of money, so you're trying to, how can I put sound to this? When a lot of times, if you read the script up front and understand what the story that's being told, you should really be thinking about the sound at that point, and then let the sound kind of help guide the story in some cases. And so, for me, it's really exciting to see a project come together where you've got a solid script, you know, and even if the acting is so-so, you've got the sound kind of carrying it through, you know. But it's important to have that.
Blasphemer!
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, especially in the horror genre, the sound, people don't understand how critical that sound can be. And, you know, don't skimp there.
Just an addendum to your story, back in the 1980s, I used to do a half-hour horror radio drama on WBAI, and what got me inspired to do that was I went out and heard Stephen King's The Mist, and I bought a Neumann binaural microphone, and I had a friend of mine who was visually impaired, and I called him my soundographer. So one of the first scenes that we shot was in this kitchen, and the two actors are talking, he says, "Cut." It's like, "What's the matter?" It's like, she's supposed to be cooking, right? He's like, "Yeah, but she's not doing anything." Okay, so we put a pot on the stove and a spoon. "Cut." "What's the matter?" "I can't hear the gas jets." "Okay, put the gas." "Cut." "What's the matter?" It's like she's stirring an empty pot, kind of thing. So he taught me a whole new way of listening to things, and that's even when I'm watching films. You know, somebody mentioned the other night, you know, you have a party scene going on, and these two people are talking very normal, whereas if they're supposed to be at this party, they're usually talking louder to each other because there's all this stuff going on, and it just destroys the illusion kind of thing. So, exactly, sound can make or break, you know, the difference between a B movie and an A movie kind of thing in an independent film.
When I go into a movie, it's got to come from the heart, honestly. Like when I look at my film, it's just I went and I just shot everything from the heart. Like I wrote everything. I try to make all the characters connect some way in some form. And what I did was I used like a lot of symbolism. Like you watch the movie one time, you're like, oh, and then you watch it again. I said, well, you know, back there in like the crowd, there's I did Dante's Inferno. Where he abandoned all hope, he went to see it. And when he goes into the elevator, it goes down. So it's like he's going to the depths of hell. You know what I mean? I like really a lot of symbolism in the filmmaking. And honestly, it's got to come from the heart. You just know when you're reading that script, you know, you just know about it.
I come at it from a little bit of a different angle. Unlike you guys, I don't create a project from conception. I don't birth it. I come along, you know, I'm a surrogate somewhere along the way to help take the journey. So for me, it's just getting excited reading something and the daydreaming starts. Mm-hmm. Like, you read the part and it's like, oh my God, and you just kind of gnaw on it. But then, of course, you get the part and it's 2 years before you shoot the damn movie. So it gnaws at you for a long time, right? More and more, I'm trying to do cross collaborations with filmmakers, and so we can kind of bring a project to fruition. Once again, it's the daydreaming, the thing that has like, oh, and then this, and you can slip. You know, that for me, that's a great joy. And then, of course, shooting is everything.
With me, I write a lot, so I want to tell stories that you either haven't seen before or have a different take on a story. And I'm really big into villains. I want to create unusual villains that you don't necessarily think are the bad guys at first, and then find out later they are. My film has the whole cast full of villains. That's what's important to me, especially in a horror movie where the villains are generally more interesting than the heroes. The heroes are always going to do the right thing. The villain, you have no idea what he's going to do, or she, in a lot of cases. So I always look for interesting characters, particularly with black hats.
As a writer and an actor, I could talk to you guys for days on end about how much I love characters. But honestly, some of the most important factors that I've learned when it comes to making films is, one, it is a totally collaborative medium. And every last person working on the set has some kind of creative input. Anybody who wants to paint themselves as an auteur, you know, there are auteurs out there, but if you're calling yourself one, you're probably not. You have to depend upon everyone, from the director, from the producer, right down to the lowliest PA getting you coffee. These are important jobs that go together. And the other important thing that I learned from a really, really incredible director was every last thing you do, you should have a reason for it. There should never be a point where you're just doing it because, oh, why is this here? Because fuck it, it's here. You really want to have a reason for every last object, every last location, every last character, every last costume, every last line. And once you know those reasons, that's when you're able to actually sell a piece so that's believable and people can get absorbed into it.
So to recap,
What he said.
actors, crew, everyone is equally important, and you should love all of them. You know, all of the people that you collaborate with. You know, you're all making it together, and you're all in it together. Characters. Audience responds to the characters immediately and plugs into them because we're not interested in Frankenstein. We're interested in ourselves. But if we see ourselves in Frankenstein, the creator or the monster, for example, then we love that story because it's telling us something about who we are. And then he said, he's kind of said like you know, here's the project and here's the depth underneath it. Like, don't underestimate the quality of time and the amount of time that it takes to get to a project because the time informs the project and time is as valuable as money. He said heart and passion, which I think is absolutely true. Because, you know, if you don't love what you do and love what you're communicating, nobody else is going to give a fuck either, you know? But I think love and passion is the core of it. You know, Guillermo del Toro loves monsters, and he made this beautiful monster movie. I think we all love what we do. Everyone's sitting here. It's great to see everybody. Tony made it here. Planes, trains, and automobiles. And buses. I mean, like, totally fucking insane journey. I'm very happy that you are here. Tony said it all comes down to story, 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 which is the fundamental. If you don't have if it's not on the fucking page, you know, or if it's not in the treatment or synopsis, then it's not going to be on the fucking screen. Story is everything. Story is the Bible, and without the story, you have nothing. You have air, which I think is absolutely true. And then you had said you were talking about sound.
Oh, you just got it.
Opening the
Story,
story.
sound. Without that, you know, without the sound, it's all garbage. And I got here late, so I totally was sitting down while you said your bit. But I'm sure it was fucking awesome.
So since he did not introduce himself like the rest of us, he's like the sign language guy for you. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Oh, sure.
The sign language.
All right, I'm Sergeant Rock. No, I'm Jeremiah Kipp, and I wrote and directed Slapface, which screens today at 12:45. It's a monster movie.
By the way,
So you guys, independent filmmaking, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You come into a project, and often it's the case that you're wearing more than one hat. And this is a conversation that I've had with a lot of independent filmmakers. You know, sometimes you have to bear the burden on your back and do it all. But if you had the choice to do one thing, and that one thing in the process that, you know, ignites your passion, creativity, and really makes the project worthwhile doing it, what is that for you? And you know, what's your overall take on some of the times when you have to take on more than 1, 2, sometimes even 3 jobs to get your film done? Jeremiah.
Oh, gosh. If I could do anything I wanted, I would be an actor, but I'm not an actor at all. But I really love what actors do. I think actors are the fundamental. So I've spent all my time trying to figure out what is acting, and every actor is so different. Every actor is such a different animal. But I love actors, and I love what they do. I wish that I had it in my body to be an actor, but I do not, you know, as a child actor. But when I'm on the set, and I'm working with the actor, that to me is the most beautiful part of the process, because if it is about all these things, it's the character who embodies the life of this world that we've created. And so like when actors contribute, it makes me so happy. So I guess the answer would be directing, but I think the value of the directing comes from the work with the actor. For me, it's like the most beautiful part of the process. And I love everything else. I love working with the director of photography and the sound guy and the crew and the sound designer, colorist, etc. Everybody is important, as you say. But if you were to say, like, what job would I want? I wish that I could embody the spirit of an actor, but I can't, so therefore I'm a director.
Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, really, I kind of focus upon what I don't want. I hate being the adult. You know, there's this part of filmmaking where it's all about showing off your creativity, your talent, the freshness of your ideas and such. And then there's this other side where it's asking people for money, and that just really, I wish we could avoid it. I mean, it's impossible to separate it from it, but it absolutely terrifies me. So basically, anything other than producer is what I wish I could do.
Oh man, well, my first love has always been practical effects. That's how I got started in film. I've been finding myself becoming more and more obsolete because I'm very 80s old school practical effects, and you know, my age is showing. So that's what I'd like to do more of, but I realize that's kind of, you know, started becoming not going to happen. So directing's good.
Her first film, Practical Werewolves.
Yeah, also horrible.
Fuck yeah.
I bit off way more than that. Hey, let's
first
do
film.
Yeah, let's do Practical Werewolves and direct. That worked out great.
You're my hero.
No, I'm surprised my hair's not like completely gray. And I look like 20 years older than I am. But yeah, as far as wearing multiple hats, I'm a freaking coat rack. On a lot of my films, I do, you know, props. I help out with wardrobe. I help out with painting sets. I'll be painting sets while I'm on the phone with an actor. I'll be doing all this crazy stuff. The one thing I don't want to be like him is a producer. I happily shove that on somebody that likes doing that.
For me, it's acting, but to completely submerge myself in it and not think about anything else at all.
How's that going for you?
When I'm working, it's magical.
Yeah,
when I'm working, it's
yeah.
the gaps between the jobs that are painful.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
Ain't that the
making the
truth?
movie is magic. But the thing is, my wife's a production designer, so I'm never allowed to say no to art department. So I don't, you know, it's written into the vows. You gotta come in at the last minute.
Mine would be directing. Like Jeremiah said, working with, you know, actors and trying to pull that character out of them. I think it's amazing. You know, taking somebody and sitting down and telling them, listen, you're this person. And when they do it and they basically, you know, bring it out of them, you feel like $1 million. It feels like the world. The one thing that on set they told me, like, no, not to move the light, not to do this. DP, the director doesn't do that. Me, I was like, no, I want the light this way. I'm gonna move it. You know, I don't want to sit down in a chair and just, you know, tell people what to do. I like to be like hands-on. You know, so I'm like a jack of all trades, but I really like directing. That's like my main thing. But if you want me to move a light, I'll move a light. I'm not gonna sit around and wait. You know.
Did the gaffer
Yeah,
try
go
to
get me
kill
a
you?
coffee.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I have more of an analytical mind. So I actually enjoy the producing, the trying to bring people together and problem solve. You know,
Let's work
something's going
together.
wrong. So what I would like to do more, if you could say that, is actually have a way to develop more funds to be able to actually help fund more of these projects. Because there's a lot of great stories and a lot of talent out there that, you know, has yet to be discovered and has been discovered, but it's just a matter of obviously being in the independent world, being able to produce a product and compete with, you know, the studios to get something out there to actually generate revenues. And, you know, I know everybody loves to do it because that's their art. They want to get something on film. But at the same time, it's a business, you know, and so
Yeah.
you should be looking to be paid for your work. You know, that's one, honestly, that's one of the things that bothers me with you know, independent film is, and I understand it's the budget issue. Everybody would pay everybody if they had the funds. But I also, as a producer, don't like the fact that you sometimes take advantage of that. So, hey, I've got a really good part, and you're willing to do it for, you know, chump change. Hey, I'm going to jump on it. I know it's probably out of necessity and we don't have the funds, but at the same time, you know, my responsibility would be, let's find a way to get those funds, because everybody deserves to be paid for their art. If you're going, you know, your house, your toilet breaks down, you're going to call the plumber and say, hey, would you come over here and I'll be happy to give you a credit for fixing my toilet. They're going to say, you know what you can do with that? So, you know, like I said, in fairness, I would love to be able to help fund more projects, you know, going above and beyond what I currently do. So.
Yes, for me it's definitely writing, and then somehow I became a director out of necessity, because once you write the story, you know your means. I mean, in order to produce a short film and not go under, you somehow have to fashion the story around what you already have available, but also make it so that it looks like high production without really spending too much money. So I love writing, directing, of course, because I already know what the character's motivation is. I know already what the theme is of the story. You know, I'm a control freak. I want, at the end of the day, I want what I write to be reflected, you know, visually. So so I love doing directing, but it's heavy. I mean, it's a hard job. I admit it.
I am an actor, and that's what I am. You know, I don't have I see the director pulling his hair out, the producer pulling his hair, and I look at the wonderful crews I've been working on. You got lighting, and you got the cameraman. Without them, you suck. Because you don't have the right lighting, you don't have the sound, you don't have, you know what I'm saying? But I've never had a desire to be any of those things, especially a director, because I see when they pull their hair, I'm like, what do you want me to do? He has a vision. But I'm good at what I do. I'm an actor, and I like to take a well-written script and bring my life into it, because that's how you make the script come alive. Because if it was just about the words only, then people will put the script on the screen, and you can just read the script. That's why when you see an actor, two actors doing the same part, you get two different performances. If they're a good enough actor, they will bring their life to those words. How did it affect you? How does my character feel this way? When did I feel that way? Now you're right. Now you're getting a different performance, and it's from you. You're breathing life, your own life, into that part. And I am very happy just being an actor. I see everybody on the set. I'm like, oh, where's my script? I'm going to change this choice, and I'm good. Any questions?
Am I in the way?
Before we continue, Jonathan, just introduce yourselves and what you won for last night.
So I directed Creatures of Whitechapel, which is playing at about 4:20, I think, today. So if you missed it, come check it out, and won a few awards also.
Few.
Kevin Mandibo, the French director. Maybe the only French in this festival. I don't know, but I won the prize of Best Cinematography for my feature film, The Follower. You can check it at 420 Salon C. And I'm really proud to be there. It's all American people. It's difficult for me to speak, but it's good.
Cool. So a few years ago, when we were doing a panel at the New York City Horror Film Festival, the question came up about, you know, how cheap it was for stuff and making films now and the technology and all that stuff. And I played the devil's advocate by saying, that's great, but just because you can afford to buy the equipment doesn't necessarily mean that you should make a movie. I mean, you might be better off taking that and putting it to tuition to learn a film skill, or maybe going to pharmacy school. I don't know.
And then serve the film community that way.
Exactly. I've been on a few sets where they've been run ragged and they had to call the doctor in with B12 shots and antibiotics. So
Right.
yes,
Right.
that does apply. So At the end of the day, for you, is it money? Is it you've worked on the script and you can't, you know, it's just not working for you? What do you need to be in place to say go? I mean, do you have to make every project, or do you even turn around and write something and maybe put it in a drawer and let it percolate for a while and come back to it? And then eventually find that spark that says, yes, this is ready to go. So what's the go factor for you to make the film? You gentlemen arrived late, so you get a little more.
For me, when you can go with your movies, when you have the screenplay ready, and when you can say that you have all the elements on your dialogues and developments, it's ready to go. And for me, in my case, I work with my own economies with this film. It's just a very little budget, and the most important was the casting, because I couldn't work with big visual effects and big lot of good things that you can see on blockbusters, for example. So for me, it was the screenplay and the casting.
I'm so no, sorry, I went deep into thought because I'm like, oh man, right? Like, what is the go time as far as that? Because I don't know. I like to work on something when it's hot. You know what I mean? Like, if I write it, I want to go make it now. So I don't know if I can put something into a drawer. Not saying that I wouldn't or couldn't, but I like to kind of know that maybe something's going to happen with it and kind of get that momentum. I don't know. There's something there, but I mean, at the end of the day, the stories. Feel the story's ready and you've kind of thought it over and just kind of developed it and molded it around your head. You're like, yeah, maybe I could put like a fake wall here and then I could like do that. Maybe I could trick them with that. And then once you kind of figure that out, it's like, yeah, then yeah, you can go. I mean, because I'm trying to avoid the budget question. Because like, if you have like money, then yeah, you can go. So I'm trying to avoid it. Like, okay, so if that's not going on, I just think I'd be confident. I just feel confident about being able to do it.
I'll answer the question with a small story. I'll keep it, because we have many people.
Right.
I'll be short. All right, so with Slapface, it's a feature, like it's a $500,000 to $750,000 feature that we want to do. But my DP, Dominic Civilli, was like, Jeremiah, I want to get some monster stuff on my reel. I'll give you $5 grand, and we'll just go out and we'll make a short. And he owns a camera, and we have a friend who has lights. We have all this stuff. Beatrice Sniper, who does the special effects, she was here yesterday doing a demonstration. She did the monster. But it was like, all right, yeah, 5 minutes. He's like, but why don't we do an Indiegogo just to pad it a little bit, you know? And I'm like, yeah, sure, that will probably fail, but let's try. So we did the Indiegogo. We got like $6,500. I went to him and I was like, oh, I did all right. He's like, thank God. Thank God, because I had nothing. Give me the incentive to go make this thing because I know you love it so much, you're so passionate about telling this particular story. I figured if I gave you a little ruse, then you would go for it, you know. So in fact, I was tricked into this project that was so near and dear to my heart. But maybe it was the only way. Maybe trickery was the only way that this would have gotten made right here, right now.
I'm going to answer this with a question. How many here are writers as well? I know we all do many hats. Isn't there kind of like a difference? Like when you're working on the production side, you kind of want to go, like everybody's been saying. But from a writer's side, you're more comfortable with waiting for the right moment because you usually have like dozens of scripts, right?
I think it depends. You know, if you know that you're writing for a big production, anything goes. You can write, you know, crazy stuff in your script. You know that the studio will, back it up. But if you're responsible for the budget, you're yourself or the producer, then you kind of like. I love limitations. It's like writing a sonnet, a poem.
Right.
So you know that you know.
So purpose driven.
And you write the story around it. I mean, you choose the elements that you know that you have, and you write the story around it.
So am I the only person with a box full of scripts?
Well, you're for big productions then.
Yeah.
For me, it's momentum. More importantly, a director with momentum. That's the the snowball rolling down the mountain gathering steam. And that's when I come into the project.
Mixing some
And if it's something like a pet project, a passion project, something I have to do, it's then me trying to get that momentum gathered and then incorporate others into it. That's, the momentum's everything.
With me, I would say it's more of confidence booster because this is my first film in this festival. So as soon as seeing people, love it and hearing all these good things about it, it just makes me want to keep going. I made a dark drama. Now I want to make a horror. Now I want to make a sci-fi. Now I want to make this one, and I want to see, how people, relate to my stuff, and keep making it and keep making it. So, hopefully I'll be back here a couple more times with some new stuff for you guys to check out.
I mean, they've all made great points. For me, it's like, for example, Hell of a Night. It took us 2.5 years to shoot that.
Wow.
And due to various complications, we had, you name it, we had to recast a couple times. We had, storms came through and took out our location, and we're like, oh no, what are we going to do? So, I mean, different obstacles, obviously. As far as a go time, it's sometimes these projects, we don't see it, but the fact that we're being delayed is a reason. And sometimes it's like, well, if you were trying to get distribution for, say, a certain project and you had finished it on time, the market's flooded with that. Nobody wants it, or you're not going to get a good deal. Well, now it's been delayed for X period of time. That kind of went through its cycle. Well, guess what? Now it's coming back. So sometimes these delays are actually blessings in disguise because, maybe it's the cycles coming back and, kind of karma helping you out, if you will, to produce that. But, trying to obviously budget is one of those things. And really, if you can get a little bit of money and start going forward, if you've got the time to take your time on it, take your time. There shouldn't be a rush. If there's a specific reason you're trying to have to hurry up and get this out, then, a lot of times, the money is one of the limiting factors there. So.
Yes, for me, Walk with the Devil was my very first project. I had never been to film school, so to me it was like a way to, test myself. I'm really self-taught. So I had met some kids in Sicily who were really passionate about filmmaking, but they really had no, they weren't professionals. So what I did is why don't we do a short movie? I already had a location in mind. I had some support family over there. So I was like, well, what if I taught you guys for 3 months camera movements? I educated these people. And of course the actors they were just a boon from heaven. But all the crew were people who had really no experience professionally, and we shot on a 6D. So I'm really impressed with what we were able to accomplish. And so all the budget was mostly spent on expenses. We paid back their gas. We treated them really well at the restaurants. We went even on location. We spent the night, in small hotels. We tried to treat them as best as we could. It was a great experience for them and for us. And then, of course, my promise was to take the movie, once finished, to as many film festivals as possible, to give them credit on IMDb, which they did not know existed. So, it was like I tried to give back, not money, but experience and, curriculum, whatever it could help them for their future projects. And Alice Canzonieri, she had already, my main actress, she already did something on, on national TV. But once Walk with the Devil came out, she got an agent, which was really amazing. And now she's really working full-time on national TV. So that's the biggest, satisfaction.
Well, being that I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't have money to start a film, I'm an actor, and what's a goal for me is it always starts from the script. I look at the script and, do I see myself here? Do I, when I have my character, I'm fortunate enough to have a few writers. I mean, a lot of people don't have that, but I have a few directors that always use me, and they know my work, and they present me, this was written for you. So I look at it and I'm like, yeah, but it's the script, and how can I, like I said before, how can I make it come alive? And if it's a challenge, my last film, I was a lead in a feature film called Offstage Elements. So we had a lot of big people in it, you know. They had smaller roles, actually. We had the bigger roles. We had Michael Starr in it from, you know, Dumb and Dumber and everything, when he was out managing. It's a story about a over-the-hill band from the 80s making it, and it became, you know, they started making it big, and, you know, there was people dying, you know, how, you know, people in bands and stuff. It was different. I'm normally playing a killer, so it was different. It was a different, you know, and I went, and it was great. There was a lot of emotional stuff in it that I don't have to do when I'm a killer. A killer, I just kill your ass. You know? But actually, I get emotion, I cap stuff, you know, there's a lot of in-depth stuff, so that's what sells it for me. That's a goal for me, you know. As an actor, it's the next level.
Before we turn it over to a couple of questions, we've got a few minutes for that. I just wanted to say that, and I think everybody here on the panel and everybody sitting here in the audience is that having been a judge and being involved with a lot of different film festivals, there are film festivals that are very business-like. But thanks to Elsie, the Macabre Faire Film Festival, you definitely get a sense of family.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, I think, more than other film festivals, everybody's approachable and everybody's networking. So there's a real sense of community. So I think we should take a moment, a round of applause to Elsie for this environment that she's provided everything. And as this is a community, are there any questions from anyone in the audience?
Actually, when you mentioned 2 years, that's what something that, I know it's not the one that's taken the longest. We had someone that had, what, 7 years they were talking about last night?
The Mason Mantle, I think it was 6 years. 5
Six-
years. 5 years.
5 years, 5 years, yeah. I want to ask, actually even put it out to you guys. Anybody out here got a film that took longer than that? No? How do you keep it together for 2 years? I mean, is there something special, or was it just the dedication of everyone?
I think it was, a lot of it had to do with the dedication of everybody just believing in the film and like, we're going to make this happen.
Isn't it scary though? Because it's like if any one portion like drops the ball, you're kind of.
That's why it took 2.5 years.
Okay.
But, you know, in reality, I mean, that's, like I said, I wish Brian would have been able, the writer, director, DP, cinematographer. I mean, if y'all get a chance to see it, or if you got a chance to see it, he was basically a 1 to 3 man crew for this whole thing. Again, budget issues were part of it, you know, and I have to say about the people who do this, the one thing I admired about him was obviously this was a thing for him to do, but he was one of those people that would work odd jobs, get X amount of money, film what he could do, edit, ran out of money, worked another job or whatever.
The Peter Jackson bad taste story.
That's right. I mean, it was, you know, so when I got involved, I'm like, how much do we need to finish this? Well, I'm like, let's just get this done. We'll find a way, you know, we'll get the money, let's just get it done. And, you know, even after that, like I said, we had tornadoes, we had, you know, recasting, we had, you know, just out of funds, you know, or trying to find someone who was going to do a certain thing. They backed out, so now we're having to redo all that. And, you know, like I said, every person that does a film has those hurdles. But, you know, it's the dedication of the people, the actress, the main actress. She moved to Greece, you know, like we were getting, so there were no follow-up shots.
Wow.
You know, everything was, whatever we had, we worked well. And like I said, credit to him. There's a lot of scenes in there, like I said, for anybody that gets a chance to see it, that a lot of those scenes where you had multiple actors were shot 6-8 months apart. And the fact that he got the Best Editing Award is kudos, because, again, if you understand the background of how what was on film got there, it's incredible. It takes a very keen eye to really be able to dissect and say, yeah, that doesn't really look right, because he did such a phenomenal job of putting this thing together, and again, just sticking with it, and, you know, it's like, I gotta get this done, and like, I'm there with you, let's see if we can get this done. It's just team dedication, really.
And I think we got time for one more question, but the dialogue can continue after that.
Before we take the last question, I also wanted to turn around. I was very impressed last night on the red carpet by the amount of talented women that were represented here last night, both from actresses to directors, to writers, to production designers, too. And you know, I don't know if that was something conscious that Elsie was asking her judges to look at, kind of thing. But you know, kudos to this film festival for really take the initiative and embracing so many female creators in the industry, so many talented filmmakers. So congratulations to all those women that were represented here this weekend.
Yeah.
Joe, I could actually speak to that.
Okay.
You know, I'm Todd, I'm one of the judges for the festival.
Sit up here.
And,
She's going to get everyone up here.
It's screen, please.
But to answer your question, there was no mandate to say, oh, you please try to concentrate on women. There's just so much phenomenal work coming in, and it gets reflected in what we picked for our choices. I mean, I take it very seriously, and people say, oh, it's so great, you're a judge, you get to watch all these movies. I'm like, that is great, but my God, it's months of work and note-taking. It's just the quality of work coming in from women in the industry, and then that gets mixed in with it. I think it is very important to empower women in filmmaking, but I think we're starting to turn that corner where there's just so much talent that you don't have to call it out or make a mandate, hey, you must select this many women, because you don't have to. There's just that much quality work that it shows through. So it's really a kudos to them for just having the quality of work that we don't have to segregate them. You know, they're just part of the quality of work. So congratulations to all of them. It's really deserved.
Sweet.
One more question from the audience? Okay, then there's still some bagels and coffee. So people still have some business cards. So please feel free to use the space and mingle and network. And congratulations to all the winners. Thank you.
Thank you.